Hi everybody, welcome to Raising Sipuseto. So this last appointment in the hospital, ne, I want to share something that I learned. Ne. So a lot of the times when you're in the hospital, obviously you wait for long. You have to be prepared to wait for the whole day. So when I was there, there was this mother with a child. Maybe he was like 7 years, and a lot of the times when you go to these appointments, you see all kinds of um, conditions in children. Not only do you see children with physical disabilities, but you also just see children with certain medical conditions that you wouldn't even be able to identify if you're not a medical professional. But just as an average person, you will see what's okay. Something is going on with this child that is out of the norm, if I may say so, but you don't know what it is. And you would think that if you are in an environment where it's a hospital, that people will be more understanding to each other, because everybody is there because they have a certain issue. Nobody just wakes up and go to the hospital and sit at the hospital benches. It's shibiliga, those very slippery benches as a special. Nobody wants to go and sit on those shiny benches as a special for no reason. Everybody has a problem that they're trying to take care of, you know. And so there was this mother with a child, maybe like 7 years, or also 7, 8 years old. And and then it was her, and I think the other one, I think it was the child's aunt, because the other woman looked so much like the mother, and then it was the child. Okay. And maybe I would say that mother is in her 50s. She looked like that person that had a child late when you look at the age of the child. And so the child was very active, very, very active. You know, he was running around, jumping around. He would even come to Siposetu and try to push the chair. And I usually allow that with kids because they just want to play with the chair. But I could see with him that he was a little bit more aggressive with pushing the chair. So I ended up putting the brakes on the chair so it doesn't push. But I still just didn't say anything because I recognize that there is an issue here that the mother is trying to deal with. We're in the hospital, we're waiting for long, and children get irritated and all of that. And so he would run around, and there's two of them. So when I saw that the mother was with someone who looks like her sister, I was like, okay, it must be a challenge, to be here with him, because now and then the mother will be running after the kid, and then he will be getting in rooms he's not supposed to get into, touching things he's not supposed to touch, and then she will sit down because now she's tired, and then the aunt will take over. It's like they have a routine that is just like perfect for them. They understand it. So at some point, the child came to me because he wanted juice. I was giving support juice, and he wanted to take juice. So the mother's like, no, 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 don't take it. And I was like, no. I thought, since I have another one, and maybe it will calm him down for like a few minutes. And I had more than one. I just gave him the juice. And for like a few minutes, he sat down, drank the juice, and all of that. So now, later on, when we were sitting, and we were closer now to getting into the doctor's room, and the mother was actually behind us initially, but I just thought at some point I actually don't mind even if she goes before us, because I could see that it's a challenge. She's tired now. She's been running around. The child is not getting any tired. He's just as active. He's climbing things, going out, and then she will have to go, and then she will come back and sit down, and then they'll be like, I also pour me for some time, and then she will run after him to go and get him. At the same time, she's trying not to restrain the kid. Okay. So now when we're sitting, maybe there was like one parent in front of me, and then it's me, and then it was supposed to be her, but she was not sitting down, the mother, because obviously she's running around, her and the sister and all of that. And then so we started talking while she keeps standing up, and then she would sit down, and then she keeps standing up, she would sit down, and then we started talking, and then she tells me that, even though she didn't tell me what the condition of the child, is she tells me that the biggest issue that they're having right now with the child is that he does not sleep. So like he would stay up all night, just messing up the house. And she would say sometimes she'd be dozing off because she'll be so tired, and then she would doze off for like a few minutes, and then when she wakes up, the house would be looking a mess because he would be breaking everything, messing with everything. So since she was having those challenges, the doctors had given her this medication to help the child sleep. But then when they gave her the medication, she says now she's coming back because now what happens is that when she gives the child the medication, the child becomes extremely tired. Now he wouldn't even be able to move now. He will be sleeping for over like sometimes 18 hours. He was sleeping, and then when he's waking up, he's tired. So she just stopped giving him the medication. And I was asking her what medication it was, because I know that there's one medication supposed to use to take that I used to feel like used to make her worse. Like she used to drool a lot when she was taking that medication. When she said the name of the medication, I was like, oh, I said to her, is it not this medication? And she's like, yes, it is. And I was like, oh, I know just what you're talking about. You feel like your child is getting worse. And she was like that. She's having those issues. So she's talking. So I got to understand what she's dealing with. She's like, now she wants to see if they can adjust the medication or give him a different medication. Or if they can't, she will rather deal with him not sleeping than deal with him with his personality being changed so much because of the medication. So if they can't find something that works, she would rather just be a zombie parent that never sleeps, because she can't bear to see her child like that when they give her that medication. So then she gets in, which she was supposed to go after me and this other woman, but I think both of us were thinking the same thing, so we just let her go in. So she went in, and then there were these two very young mothers on my right, because when she got in, then the two of them just moved closer to us. Then they start talking, and then they're like, hey, these two are spoiling this child. They're talking about the mom and the aunt. They're spoiling this child. Hey, mina ngabe ngiyamshaya nje na. How can the child behave that way? And you're just looking at her, and they keep running after her. Bayamjaha, bayambuyisa ini, but abamshayi. So I get frustrated a little bit, and because a lot of the times, like, I would say something like, no, but you don't understand the person's situation. You can't say something like that. You can't say that about a parent, because you don't know what they're going through. But then I just decided to keep quiet, because sometimes a lot of the times you want to take the time to educate, but then sometimes you're like, hey, sometimes you look at the person and you're like, I don't even think it's worth the effort. This one is just not gonna get it. There's people you look at and it's like, this one is just not gonna get it. So they're just talking, and then and then while I'm thinking about that, because I'm thinking, it's amazing how with women, we don't give each other understanding and grace when it comes to such things, especially when it comes to parenting, even in environments where you can clearly see we're in the hospital. All of us have different kinds of problems. That's why we're here. Obviously, there's a reason this month, because physically the child had nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with the child. He's very cute, you guys, very clean, very cute. If you just looked at her and he was sitting down for that moment, because he doesn't sit down for long, you would think there's nothing wrong with this child. So obviously the fact that the mother is there in the hospital, there is something that she is there for. As a woman, as a mother, you would just, if you're using your brain, you would think, okay, there's an issue here, so they need a little bit of an understanding. There's a reason why I would ask my sister to come with me in the hospital when I'm going to the hospital with a 7-year-old child who doesn't. There's a reason for that. Why is it difficult for us women to just give each other that understanding when it comes to situations like that? But then I ended up just looking at this girl's baby, because she had a baby. Maybe her baby is like 6-8 months old, but looks very, very tiny, very, very tiny. And when you look at the child, the face of a child, you can see a child with the eyes are open, she's playing, and you can see this child is not, this is not a 2-month-old baby, but how tiny and skinny the baby is, you would think she's 2 months. And I think she does say the baby is 6 months or 8 months old, something like that. And then when you look at the baby, they don't look that age, except when you look at their face, you're like, for maybe a 2-month-old baby. The baby must be older than that. So she starts talking about how she is having an issue where the doctors are convinced that the baby is not healthy enough, the baby is not eating enough, there is issues the diet with the baby. And she says that she doesn't understand why the doctors are fussing about it, because she's also very tiny. When you also look at her, you feel like she's older than she looks very tiny, but she's tiny, but you can say that she's older. So she's saying, even now I'm very tiny, so I feel like my baby is just like me, and I feel like that could be true. But I also looking at the baby and I'm like, but if I was a medical practitioner, I think I would be concerned too, because this baby is a little bit too skinny for any, like, if you look at her, even her skin or the baby's skin is not really like, you just feel like, yeah, this baby needs some attention. Okay, not even judging the mother, but just feeling like needs attention, and she's feeling like she doesn't understand why they're fussing about it and all of that. Now I'm thinking about it and I'm thinking, basically she's telling a story of how she's feeling like she's being misunderstood as a mother, because everybody's making a conclusion that she's not taking care of her baby just because the baby is so tiny. But she's basically the same way that she's feeling judged and not heard and not listened to when it comes to her parenting her baby, is the same thing that she's doing to the other mother who was trying to manage her child before she goes, because she also doesn't know that situation. And I just thought about how I think as women we are always looking to be heard and understood, but a lot of the times we so easily misunderstand, and we don't give people understanding and compassion, and grace. A lot of the times in parenting, it's like we are so quick to judge other people's parenting when we ourselves are looking for people to understand us and let us be when it comes to the way that we're parenting. Because I'm sure even for her, because like when you looked at her baby, she looked like, okay, there's things to be concerned about here, but I felt like she just needs maybe a medical practitioner that is going to say, listen, ma, we hear you, and we can see that you are also very petite, and part of it might be that, but we also feel like there's issues here. Maybe she needs a person that would say that, which means that she also is looking for an understanding from a person that is going to treat her child. She wants to feel like she is being heard and saying, listen, the situation here might be just genetic, because I'm also very, very tiny, but the obviously the staff might not just take her word for it. They need to check the child and see if she's okay. So yeah, you guys, I just felt like I wanted to share that, because I do feel like it can make a big difference for us to just be a little bit more understanding, especially when it comes to like parenting, like for us to not judge each other, because we already get judged a lot. Okay, like we can be more understanding with each other and help each other, and just show compassion. Sometimes even when I'm in the hospital, I would find that it makes a lot of difference when a parent is trying to talk and I just listen to them, and I'm like, yeah, I understand, I go through that as well, instead of us trying to judge all the time. Anyway, that's all that I wanted to share today. Thank you. Bye.